So today we are kayaking Lake Tarpon, which is right off McMullen Booth, just north of Countryside, Florida. We put in at John Chesnut Sr. Park. Really good place to put in. You've got 4 boat ramps. So you've got 2 smaller slots on the outsides and then 2 big slots on the inside. So it's a family kayak day. This is a 2,500 acre lake. And we're having to be filming this on the 4th of July, and it's not too crowded. Ready? So I'm going to do a voiceover for this video. I forgot to put the windscreen on my GoPro, and even though it wasn't too windy, just a little bit of wind on the GoPro can mess up the audio. So this is a little bit different style than I've done for some of my other kayak videos. So like I said, on the 4th of July, there was not very many people out on the water, and I was surprised that there was only, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 trailers in the parking lot when we got going. And I thought there'd be a lot of people out. So pleasantly surprised that there were not too many crowds on the lake. We don't do a lot of open water kayaking like this because we live in the High Springs, Florida area. We end up kayaking rivers and going into the springs. And so this is nice to just get out in the open water. It's also nice when the water is a little choppy. Not too many waves, but it was a little more choppy than just the flat rivers that we typically paddle, totally class 1 rivers. It's also nice to kind of get the sea kayaks out there where they're really designed to be in, and that is open water with waves and chop. So really nice day of kayaking. As you can tell by the weather, is really clear. We risked it because we were paddling around 12 or 1 o'clock, and that's where you can get some thunderstorms. But the weather there, I'm pointing to the north part of the lake because the north part, that way the lake goes for about 6 miles, and then we were in the southern part of the lake that we're going to go into later. But this is a long lake, so if you're not familiar with Lake Tarpon, it's a big body of water. I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video it's 2,500 acres, so nice big open body of water. And speaking of open water, the day before this we went out in Tampa Bay, and I actually made a blog with some photos that I'll put in the description below. My blog is everyday-explorer.com, and like I said, took a bunch of photos that turned out really good. Another beautiful day. It was hot. I mean, you know, this is July in Florida, so it's pretty hot. But right now we're paddling over to the other side of the lake. We spotted some houses from across the lake that we wanted to go check out. My wife really loves looking at houses on the lake, or on the bay, like we did yesterday on Tampa Bay. So just exploring. And that's one thing nice about open water kayaking like this, is you pretty much just go wherever you want to go. Whereas rivers, you're either going up the river or down the river. Whereas kayaking out in a bay or a lake, it's you just head where you want to go. Typically we try to go into the wind first, so you're not caught having to fight a headwind coming back. But we were able to kind of head into the wind, and then, like I said, going over to the other side. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we put in at John Chesnut Sr. Park. I said it was just north of Countryside. The exact address is Palm Harbor. but it is right off McMullen Booth. Really nice park. It's heavily wooded, so if you pull into the park and go immediately to the left, you'll go over to the boat ramp, but if you go straight, you'll go to the picnic shelters, and there are several really nice large picnic shelters. There's also some trails in there, and there's even a tower that you can climb up into. And so again, really nice park. It's also not too far from Dunedin, which is one of our favorite places to go when we visit this area. There's some really good breweries. There's some good restaurants. There's one Mexican restaurant that's my favorite. So looking at the houses, we made it across to the other side. That one house right there, you can see there's a garage, but there's no driveway. So I'm assuming it's just a place to keep kayaks or water stuff, or maybe even a boat, although I don't know how to get a boat in and out of there, but I thought that was pretty unique. But really, really pretty houses. Like I said, my wife just loves looking at houses on the water. So from here, we're going to make our way down towards the southern part of the lake and paddled over to another house. This house was like a dream house for being on the water. There's a ski boat, some kayaks hanging up, really nice yard, really nice dock. I think that's a water trampoline on the right there. So, all right, now we're paddling down into the southern part of the lake. And if you keep going south, you'll get into a canal. Now, I don't think you can keep going. If you could, you would go all the way out to Tampa Bay, the upper part of the bay where we were paddling the day before. But there are some locks or something there where you cannot go through. But you can go down into the channel a little bit, and you'll actually go back under McMullen Booth Road. So, you know, there's as much paddling on this lake than you can possibly do in a day. And so, you know, it's just really pretty. I mean, you know, the only downside for me of total open water paddling is you're out in the sun, whereas the rivers that we paddle, you can typically find shade, but if you put on your sunscreen, you should be good to go. So we're down into this little kind of bay on the southern part of the lake, and again, just kind of going along the coastline, checking things out and enjoying the weather. It was, like I said, it's hot. Obviously, probably temperatures around 90, humid, just normal Florida day. At this point, I was actually hoping for some clouds to move in to kind of give a little relief from the heat. Taking a little break as the girls look at houses. Family kayaks are different than solo kayaks. Solo kayaks for me are covering as much ground as I can. Family kayaks are just about enjoyment. And I just got to learn to slow it down a little bit. So overall, it's been a good day of kayaking so far. So we're going to head back along the coastline over that way, back into the main part of the lake, and then kind of head back to the boat ramp and go into the little river area. So I'll talk about the kayaks that we're using for this trip. My kayak is a 17.5 foot sea kayak. It's a Wilderness Systems Tempest. And then the other ones we have are also Wilderness Systems, between 14.5 and 15.5 feet. I really like sea kayaks for the more open water paddling, mainly because of the wind, and they track really well, even on the rivers that we paddle. Because if you get a kayak that does not track well, the current and the wind can just blow it around and you stop paddling and then the kayak will just go sideways. So one of the kayaks that we had a rudder, and then the other ones have skegs, which all do really well in the wind, especially with a crosswind. And that's where it's really nice to have a rudder or a skeg. But I really like paddling sea kayaks, sit inside kayaks. They're just faster. They, like I said, they track well. They're really easy to maneuver. Not as easy to get in and out of as, of course, sit on top. But I do like the sit insides. So this is near the boat ramp. It's kind of a river area. And I went back in here a couple days before this, and it goes back, I mean, I probably went a mile. So you go under McMullen Booth Road, it gets more narrow, and there is some shade, so that's nice. But we went back just a little bit, and then we turned around and came back out. But, like I said, it's just unique. I mean, it reminds me really of the Santa Fe River that we paddle a lot. I don't think there's really much current coming out of this, so I don't know if it's considered a river. But you can definitely kind of paddle back into East Lake Woodlands, and East Lake is really near to the entrance of the boat ramp, but you definitely come into some neighborhoods. So again, really unique area. If you paddle here, I would recommend checking that out. So now we're heading back to the boat ramp, finishing up our day. We were out for a couple hours, just enough time to really enjoy the lake and enjoy the weather. So that's going to wrap up this video of our day of paddling Lake Tarpon. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've ever paddled here, leave in the comments below what you think. And if you end up going because of this video, let me know definitely in the comments below, and let me know what you thought of the paddle. All right, thanks for watching.